That's why I keep in this industry, and that's why I keep working so hard, is because I want to build something that I can leave for them. Little by little, I learned to, create a balancing act from now being a single mom and a business owner. And how does that affect my leadership style now? Everybody knows you have a job and I need you to do it well because I'm a mother first. My business will always come second to my children. But you really have to know, that's a marriage. You are married to that person financially. This is your, bloodline, right? We work to make money, to make a living.
Would you ever have a partnership again?
That's a really good question. This is Ruth Correa with Tempo Courier and Cheetah Final Mile, and you're watching the Last to First podcast.
We've all heard the saying before, trust but verify. But in the last mile, when you're working with agents and master contractors, verification is manual, complex, and very rarely achieved. Enter GigSafe. GigSafe solved the problem that matters to you most. They've built a new network compliance tool that ties in master contractors, agents, and carriers so they can connect, validate, and authenticate their delivery and driver networks. With automated onboarding, live compliance tracking, and insurance verification, all happening in real time. No spreadsheets, no follow-ups, no more hoping that my partners are doing it right. Just one connected platform where visibility and control are at every layer of your operation. Turn your compliance into your competitive advantage. Visit gigsafe.com today. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to our next episode on the Last to First podcast. You know what it is. We bring you the latest, the greatest, the innovators who are moving this industry from last to first in today's supply chain. Joining me today is another special guest. This is someone that I've had a relationship with for many years, working on the CLD board. I've watched her grow her business. I watched her really evolve on the national scene, and I'm super excited to have a conversation with none other than Miss Ruth Correa. Ruth, welcome to the Last First podcast.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here.
It's an honor to have you here. So welcome to Austin. It's your first time here?
No, I've been here once before.
Okay.
Love it.
It's a pretty cool town.
Yeah, it's like Little Mexico.
Little Mexico?
I mean, you see so much of Mexico in this town because right? Didn't it used to be?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not a historian of Austin. I know
sure
it's, but there's a lot of different flavors here in Austin. You see a little bit of everything, which makes it a cool place. But I'm super excited to have you on the pod today because there's a lot of different things I want to talk to you about. But first, before we get into it, I'd like to have you tell the audience about your business, kind of who you are, what you do. You are I didn't say in the intro, you're the founder and CEO of Cheetah Final Mile. Tell us about Cheetah Final Mile.
Yeah, so actually we have two businesses. I know sometimes people forget. So we have Cheetah Final Mile, we have Tempo Courier.
Okay.
So we started Tempo Courier in 2008 as a franchise of Dynamics. And then we expanded our footprint to Kansas City in 2014.
With Dynamics?
Not with Dynamics. We became independent in 2011.
Okay.
From the franchise, fully independent. Stayed in South Florida until 2014, and we're still in South Florida, specializing in pharmaceuticals.
Okay.
And then expanded, like I said, in 2014 to Kansas City. Kind of expanded our footprint just because it was a move back home. I grew up in Kansas City, still have family there.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So you operate South Florida and Kansas City today.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you still operating under the Tempo brand, or is that?
No, Tempo Courier is solely South Florida now.
Okay, so that's South Florida.
Yes,
okay.
And recently we rebranded and we're Cheetah Final Mile in Kansas City.
Got it. Okay, so do both companies pretty much offer the same services, or they operate a little differently?
They do operate a little differently. In South Florida, we do a lot of medical and pharmaceutical deliveries.
Okay.
Small car courier work, true courier work, and in Kansas City, it's more final mile, white glove, warehousing, storage, critical parts. A little bit bigger and bulky.
Okay, so big and bulky. I want to get into that too.
Yeah.
All right, but let's go back to, we'll come back to both of those, but I want to talk about you. All right, so we know about Cheetah Final Mile, we know about Tempo, but what about Ruth? Let's get your origin story. How'd you get into this crazy industry?
Yeah, so in 2008, I was in the housing industry doing mortgages.
Okay.
And that blew up. The bubble blew up.
Yeah.
And I was pregnant at the time, and I needed to hustle and hurry up and find something new for me and what was going to accommodate a family that was just starting.
Yeah.
So I really wanted to be in business for myself, and I had a friend that was doing the same, looking for a new opportunity. Ran into the transportation industry. There was a franchise, that was selling franchises in our area. Dynamics was the name of it at that time.
Okay.
And so we purchased a franchise, and it was was perfect for us at the time because being part of the franchise, they give you education, they give you your marketing materials, they give you even like a small book of business, software. Like we had everything we needed to get started.
Yeah. Well, actually, quick, because I'm familiar with Dynamics. I'm intrigued because they approached us in our business back in New Orleans, and it was for the franchise model. But the model was they basically want to come in and take over your current business, help you expand to new accounts, new markets with some existing clients that they currently had. The deal killer for us was that they wanted a percentage or royalty on your current, book of business that you had built up over the years,
Right.
not just the new piece they brought to the table. And I could never get my head around that. But you're saying you were starting from scratch. You were able to buy a franchise from them?
Yeah, I mean, I just bought my area, and so we had no existing book of business, so it didn't matter to us to give them the royalties on the business that they brought to us.
Got it. So you basically bought a territory.
Yeah, we bought a territory in Boca Raton.
Okay, and then they walk you through some type of education that taught you the business, the industry.
We went to Dallas, where their headquarters was, Dynamics, and they taught us sales. They taught us different industries within, Courier, whether it be a fleet. What's that called? Fleet, when you take over somebody's fleet.
Oh, fleet replacement.
Fleet replacement. They taught us how to sell medical, how to sell retail, how to sell, different sales, and so it was like a college, really. Like you go through this whole training program, and then they give you everything that you need. The contracts, they give you your sales PowerPoints, they give you software, which is, nowadays I'm like, I can't believe I got all that.
Yeah.
That's so expensive when we had all that within that franchise.
You mind me asking, what did you rough range you paid for the franchise? Do you remember?
It was between 40 to 50,000.
Okay. In the last mile world, we value technology that looks good but doesn't get the job done. That's why different is different. Built by Courier pros with over 35 years of real-world operational experience. Sorting freight, dispatching drivers, missed scans. They built the technology platform that they always needed. You get lightning-fast dispatching and routing, a driver app that eliminates confusion and adds visibility, back office automation, and tools from on-demand to air freight, all in one place. Need proof? Their Courier business grew 300% in just 3 weeks without any new hires and managing 150 drivers. Ready for tech that gets it? Visit deliverdifferent.com and book your demo today. Okay. All right. And so who's your first customer?
Ooh, okay. So we did bank deposits.
Okay. So bank work. Okay.
Yeah. So I think it was Fidelity.
Okay.
So
like
we would
schedule, little schedule route.
Right.
Okay.
So we would pick up their deposits every afternoon and head to Bank of America.
Got it. So that's 2008.
2008. Yeah. So, my baby was born, and, I'd put him in the car seat and go do this because, at that point we're so green. We didn't know what we were getting ourselves into.
Yeah.
So really learning was like doing it.
Got it.
Just doing the work. And then we found drivers and that would do the work.
Okay. So how did it go? So take me through just a summary of the Dynamics Tempo transportation experience.
Well, what do you mean? That's...
Well, so you started off, and how long were you under the franchise?
3 years. So Dynamics really quickly, they changed their footprint and decided to, I think, sell or partner up with other businesses. And so through that, the other businesses or whoever took them over decided franchising was not the model that they wanted anymore. So they asked everybody to exit. And I was extremely hesitant because, that's my security blanket, right? Yeah. I didn't know anything else. And I was comfortable in a corporate atmosphere. But we were the last franchise to exit. They were like, you need to get out. What do you want to just leave already? So we did. We were able to keep the name. That was important for us, to keep Dynamics name. So we kept the name, and we kept some other, they allowed us to keep some other things. Okay.
So you kept the Dynamics name.
Yeah. We were Dynamics Universal Courier at the time.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're operating primarily in South Florida. Okay. All right. And then how do you expand into Cheetah?
So, that's a
years later?
Long road. Yeah. Long road. We stayed in South Florida, did a lot of pharmacy, did some warehousing.
Okay.
Did some routed work for retail.
Yeah.
And then, I had a business partner at the time, and that situation really became, I don't know what the word is,
A little tenuous,
I don't know what that means, but
a
yes.
little friction.
There was a lot of like, I was doing a lot of the work and getting,
The 80-20 rule.
yeah.
Yeah.
But the split was 50-50 on the money. So, so instead of exiting, I just said, I'm moving and starting my own thing.
Okay.
So I left the territory, went back home where my mom was, my sister, my brothers, and just said, let's see what I can do here.
Yeah.
At this point, I have 3 kids now, right?
Yeah.
So it was just being back home and having that support system, that family support, was important for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Question for you. So when I'm curious with the dynamics transition from being a franchisee to a full owner,
Mm-hmm.
did you feel, so how long before that happened?
3 years.
3 years. So decent amount of time, but did you feel like you were prepared and ready to go, or were you still a little skeptical about kind of venturing all the way on your own?
Oh, extremely skeptical. I mean, skeptical.
Yeah.
But we created such good relationships with the people that were training me and helping me out,
Mm-hmm.
that even I didn't have to be scared, because even after that, like, I wasn't part of that franchise, I still had those relationships.
Yeah.
Those people don't go away. You can still call them, and people are just people, they're willing to help,
Mm-hmm.
they're not scared to give you advice. And so I realized it was all in my head, I can't do this by myself.
Yeah.
Well, yes, you can.
Mm-hmm.
And you still have support. Like, you just have to reach out.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of like all those things that we face in fear, right? Fear is always, it stifles you, but most times when you go through it, you walk through that fire, go over that hurdle,
Yeah.
you realize, like, why was I worried about that?
Well, yes.
Yeah.
Why was I
So I was
worried?
tripping, right?
Yeah. But you have to be comfortable doing like what's uncomfortable for you, right?
That's true. What they say, you have to learn how to be uncomfortable.
Right.
I'm not saying this
Like
right,
I am right now.
Does she look uncomfortable? I don't think so. She looks fine. All right. So, okay. So you're back in Kansas City at this point. So you've kind of left the partnership. Did you?
I didn't leave the partnership.
Okay.
I kept that partnership, but I kept it in South Florida. And I said, I'm going to continue this on my own in another area.
Got it.
But I could
Is that
do that
person
alone.
still partners with you today?
No. So quickly after I left,
It fell apart.
it started to fall apart, and I made it known that, like, I'm not going to do anything to fix it if you guys are still going to be with me on this. And we made an agreement, and they exited.
Okay. Do you find that, I mean, this is something that I haven't talked about a lot in the podcast, but partnerships. Mm-hmm. So there's 2 schools of thoughts on this, right? You try to find someone that has some opposite skill set, what your weaknesses is their strength, and vice versa. But then the other part of people will tell you, like, man, like, partnerships can be the worst thing, because you can get a situation like that and you're kind of stuck almost. Like, you can't really get out of it because this person can't necessarily be fired. I guess you could. They had a day job, but they will still own the company. Would you ever have a partnership again?
That's a really good question. I'm not against it, but you really have to know, like, that's a marriage. Like, you are married to that person financially.
Yeah.
And this is your, like, bloodline, right? We work to make money, to make a living. And so to have somebody else hanging 50% on that's a really difficult ask. And I think I don't regret having that partnership, because, like you said, he had the opposite skill sets that I had, and I learned so much from that.
Yeah.
I would do it differently. Where there would be a clear contract with clear consequences, or, if something happened or if something derailed, where we could both either exit cleanly.
Yeah.
So I learned from it, but I wouldn't say I would never do that again.
Interesting. Yeah, I think the takeaway for me is, like, you always, when you start anything off, you should start with the end in mind first.
Yeah.
And so, like, maybe going through all those worst case scenarios, like trying to document and work your way back to the beginning, because when new things come up, everybody's excited, everyone's feeling good about it, and everyone goes in with the best intentions. But just like a marriage, which I want to get into, because we both are sitting here as unmarried people, and just like a marriage, things can happen.
Yeah.
Right. So, let's just jump out. I was going to ask this question a little later, but since I brought it up, you are a single mother.
Mm-hmm.
You're a Latino woman. You're operating in an industry that is the total opposite of, at least from a mostly male-dominated industry. And there's certainly not very many Latino women who are leading companies in this space. Like a couple questions on this part. First, when you sit back and think about that, like, what does that mean to you?
I mean, in the past, it didn't mean much because I was always just doing what I needed to do, right? So who cares that I was Latina? Who cares I'm a woman? Who cares that everybody around me is male? Males. But now I just feel like, wow, I have overcome so much because of it. Because yeah, I would walk in a room and not like I'd be nervous about speaking or if what I said, how it sounded, or if it wasn't. I don't know, when it just was different walking into a room where you're different.
Yeah.
You don't have the courage to speak up. And when you do speak up, sometimes you think you have to be louder or you have to be smarter than everybody else to be heard.
Mm-hmm.
But now I realize, and I think then the industry has evolved so much that now I don't think it's so much of a challenge because it is such a diverse world now.
Yeah, yeah. No, it is. I think that's the beauty of diversity is that when you put it all together, it's kind of like a gumbo back in New Orleans. Like you put all these different ingredients together and it comes out delicious. But I know we've talked about this on our work with the CLD board, and obviously I started off a diversity inclusion initiative. You took it over after me, and whatever your thoughts may be on DEI, et cetera. But the fact that when you put different minds, different experiences, different skill sets around a table, you should get the best of the best product.
Right.
But you're right. It is often, I had the same experience too in different, rooms I've been in where you kind of shrink a little bit. Like maybe I shouldn't really raise my hand. Maybe I shouldn't really speak up. Maybe I shouldn't because you're worried about the perceptions or worried about you're not qualified, et cetera. But
I mean, and you've seen me in those situations where I could be in a boardroom and people are trying to get me, everybody's so encouraging. Like, you have a voice, say what you want to say.
yeah,
But yeah, I do shy away from that just because of that atmosphere. Now, that is a me situation, not because people around me were making me feel that way.
mm-hmm.
I felt that way just because of maybe how I looked, or maybe because I spoke with a little bit of an accent, or because of my educational background. So I had to get over that myself and really know that, like, I've made a place for myself in this industry.
Mm-hmm.
I've created something that is, I've thrived.
Sure.
So, what I have to say does have value.
Yeah. It's always you versus you at the end of the day.
Yeah.
It's hard for us to always understand that. But I've also seen you grow and evolve a lot too. I'm thinking back to one of our last board meetings, and you have become a lot more vocal and you speak your mind up when you're passionate about the topic. And
I've tried.
and so congratulations and credit to you for that growth. I think we're all growing in different ways, and so I really appreciated that. Second part about this question, this kind of segment of the questions. You and I we've talked before off camera, right? And we have both experienced divorce. And not to get into air out our personal laundry here, but that from the standpoint of having 3 children, being a CEO, dealing with both obstacles and challenges in day-to-day life, and then you go through a divorce, like how difficult was that for you while you're managing all these different things that's happening, and then you have to keep a face on for your staff and for your employees and everybody else to keep lights on.
Right. So, I mean, such a multifaceted question, right? Because divorce in itself is hard, right? It literally turns everybody's life upside down. But when you add in all these other factors, like you said, like a business, children, and how that affects everything, I don't think I did well, to be honest with you, going through that. My process through that was, I guess, learning how to fall graciously, because I fell and I fell hard. I didn't know how to make that balance without that support system that a spouse gives you when you do have children involved. And it wasn't part of the plan.
Yeah.
Gosh, you have that end plan, that big picture in mind, your goals. That was not part of it. So yeah, my thing with divorce is I learned to fail graciously because it was a hard fall for me. But on the other side of it, it's like when you realize what you are capable of, like pushing through and kind of growing and evolving, and you're like we're so strong that we don't give like what I don't give myself or we don't give ourselves credit for.
Yeah.
So little by little, I learned to, create a balancing act from now being a single mom and a business owner. And how does that affect my leadership style now? Like I lead differently now with my team at work.
How so?
Um, I lead with more empathy, I think.
Well, when you do experience divorce, it can be very damaging to a lot of the relationships and the expectation that you've built both internally and externally.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think that it's unfortunately it's a part of life. It's something that you go through. It's never part of the plan. But I think you can learn so many different things, like everything other challenge in life when you go through difficult times like that. For me, I wasn't necessarily running my company at the time, so I didn't have to deal with necessarily being the CEO of the business at the time. So that gave me a little bit of room and grace. I want to thank you for taking this ride on the Last of First journey with us. In 6 months, we've achieved over 200,000 views across all our platforms. We're humbled and thankful for your support. But I do have one small favor to ask. Take 5 seconds, hit the like button or subscribe. Just like your on-time performance metric, this one matters to us the most. It helps us attract better guests and bring you deeper content to help propel you on your Last of First journey. And if your brand aligns with our mission, reach out to us. We'd love to find ways to partner and work together. Now back to Last of First. To like really focus in on building a better relationship with my children, building a good co-parent relationship with my ex, which is really good today, and I'm very thankful for that. But it helps you to evolve as a person because you mentioned like you become more empathetic to your staff, and I've certainly had to learn a lot of things about me and behaviors and really want to put you really want to make sure you're treating everyone in the best way possible at all times because you understand how fragile relationships can be.
And that's what I was trying to say is valuing their contribution and making sure that I show them, empathy and like that I value them and everything that they do every single day.
Yeah.
Because it's personal relationships, it's business relationships. I think that's so important.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right. Last question on this topic. You're a woman in logistics.
Mm-hmm.
Is that an advantage for you?
I've never felt that way, and that's the first time somebody said that. No, absolutely not.
Okay.
I mean, in a male-dominated world, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think what's been an advantage for me is my hard work ethics and my and people see that and people value that. Like customers value that and being able to communicate that I value hard work and integrity and that I communicate well.
Yeah. I asked a question. I intentionally asked it that way because I want to kind of surprise.
See my reaction.
Yeah, I want to see your reaction. Yeah, because normally it's not spun that way. But you may have other schools of thoughts that will say, and I've had people say it to me like, well, you're the only black dude in the room, so that's an advantage for you. Like you stand out from the crowd, right? So I've had it positioned to me that way, and there probably is some truth to both sides of this, where being a minority helps, but I've always said exactly what you said. It's not what I look like; it's what I can do.
Right.
It's how I can perform. It's my credibility. It's my work ethic. It's the things that you just laid out for us. Because you can walk in any room in any color shade you want, right? But if it's only going to last so long if you're not able to back up and follow through on the things that you say that you can execute on.
And I would say even now when I speak, like in a sales atmosphere, sometimes people are surprised, that I've done what I've done or that I can do what I do. And I'm like, why is that surprising to you? But I think it is because of the fact that I am a woman or the fact that I am a mother, because it's so hard to balance, being successful in a business atmosphere and also being a family head.
Yeah.
It's so hard to like find, a good balance on that.
Do you think that balance is harder being a woman than a man? Like, is that the disadvantage part of it? Do you feel like, especially
I don't want to take away from fatherhood.
Yeah.
But I think mothers do have a little bit more responsibility.
I just saw this funny stat. I just saw a stat that people spend 10 times more on Mother's Day than on Father's Day in gifts.
We deserve it. We really do.
Go figure. Right. Continue.
Not my kids though.
Yeah.
They went all out on Father's Day. No, I'm kidding.
No, but go ahead. You're right. Mothers are, none of us would be
I just
here.
think traditionally, right?
Yeah.
Traditionally and emotionally, we need to be more like available for our children. It's just we play a different role in their lives.
Mm-hmm.
So, and for me, I think, because I'm a Latina, so we also value, like, I don't know if we value family more. I shouldn't say that, but the expectations of a woman in our culture and in our family, in the role we play as a family head, we have to be there for our children. So it's just been a really difficult task for me post divorce, to learn how to navigate that.
Yeah. What were the expectations of you growing up? So you mentioned kind of your culture and maybe what that looks like.
Yeah, I think my mom was more worried about me learning how to cook, so I could be a good wife, more than she was like the education that I got, or the or what I was going to do as a career. That was never a mindset that was instilled in me.
Mm-hmm.
It was learning how to cook and keep a clean house, and it was definitely different than what I'm living today.
Yeah. Is your mother still alive today?
Yes, she is. Yes, she is.
What she think about your success?
She worries about the same things, like I keep saying, that balance, like that I'm putting my priorities straight, that I have, I still that my faith is still strong, right? That my children are at the top of my list before anything else.
Yeah. Speaking of your children, I met your son recently. You brought him to the last COD conference.
Yeah, yeah.
I love that. Why was that important to you to bring him there?
You know, it's a whole part of my life that they don't see, right? And so I want them to understand, like, what is it that I do on a day-to-day? And then also for him to grow as a young adult and figure out what he wants to do for his life.
Yeah.
So, and hopefully as the other ones get older, I want to bring them around too. And so that you can see there's so much that's in this industry. It's not just about CEOs, it's about the softwares, it's about the vendors, it's about developing a software and you're in
Podcasting.
insurance and social media. So, it really opened his eyes to a lot of different opportunities. Yeah. So, and especially in this pre-college year, he's got 1 year left.
I say I loved it because I saw him, eyes kind of wide open, and he seemed very excited. I saw him engaging with different people. I talked for a few minutes. I mean, it was towards the end of the conference, and kind of asked him what his takeaways were, and he had notes. He was engaged. I mean, it was really. Story time with drop off. The lab test that just couldn't wait. A hospital system needed a delivery fast. The patient was prepped, the doctors were waiting, and time was just not on their side. Enter drop-off. Drop-off showed up with the certified driver, temperature-controlled equipment, and live updates along the way. That wasn't just moving a package, it was saving a life. And that's the type of reliability that drop-off brings in 35-plus markets across the U.S. Powered by smart technology, but always with people and drivers who care. Turn this story into your reality. Visit dropoff.com today. Really cool to see. I think a couple of things. One, you said it first, like, I think it's good for our kids to see us in action, kind of see what we do. They know mom and dad go out to work every day, but they don't get perspective of it.
Right.
But also, he's 16, 17?
16. Yeah.
16. He's in such a formative age right now where he needs to kind of get that hands-on experience and touch the world, right? He's probably been hearing about these things. I just think it was really cool that you brought him there, and I hope to see him again here in Austin next February.
We'll see. I told him the opportunity's there if he wants to take advantage of it. I think that's why I keep in this industry, and that's why I keep working so hard, is because I want to build something that I can leave for them if they so wish. If they don't, then, I have to build my own exit strategy, which is fine. But if they so wish to have a part of this, I hope that for them.
Yeah. So one of the things we share in common, we have kids that are very athletic and travel all over this country doing sports.
Yeah, yeah.
Your son is a nationally ranked tennis player,
Yep.
I believe. You are a nationally ranked tennis
Oh my
player.
God, please.
Yes, you are. That's what the rumor says, right? Um, was it like, so you talk about balance, right? So what's that like? Because normally when I text you or call you, you're like, I'm at a tennis meet or a tennis tournament here or there. I'm probably at a flag football or track meet. So
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, these are all weekend long activities.
Yeah, yeah.
How do you manage all that? And why is that important for you to, be involved at that level?
I mean, because that's where the priority is, right? What are my children's dreams and what am I doing to help them get there, right? So this is his dream. I'm going to do everything possible. So that's why I was talking about that culture that I instilled. Like, this is how I lead at work, because I want to make sure that everybody knows you have a job and I need you to do it well, because I'm a mother first and I'm a business. So my business will always come second to my children.
Yeah.
So I make sure that I do everything that I need to do Monday, when I am there, as much as I can, and so that I can be available for them during the weekends. These kids are so different and so disciplined when they are involved in a sport like that. I mean, your kids too, your daughter, I see, football, right?
Yeah, she plays
So,
soccer.
but they put so much effort into it. You really want to show them that equal effort. So they keep me motivated and disciplined as well.
Yeah.
So if I need to find time for, like, I'm up at 5 o'clock in the morning to make sure, if I want to have a hobby or have time for myself, I have to also stay disciplined and make sure that I'm working hard. Because gosh, they're working so hard to, like, make their goals.
They are, and that's what. I played sports all my life growing up, and that's one of the big things that it instilled in me was that discipline, that work ethic. That, look, sports is the one place, I think, one of the few places we still have left in this world. Excuse me, where it truly doesn't matter about anything but what can you do, like
Right.
what's your skill. Like you can play or you can't play, and
Nobody's gonna show up for you. You have to show up for yourself.
yeah, especially in a sport like tennis. I mean,
Right.
there's no one else to point the finger at. But the commitment it takes to play at a certain level, those sacrifices are real things, and they translate so well into your post playing career, no matter when that may be for the individual.
Right.
And so, yeah, I still same way. I'm up 4:45, 5 a.m. trying to get a workout in because I got to get, my afternoons are tied up with them. And they see that, and it becomes a habit to them.
And you have to lead by example for your children too.
Yeah.
And I think that's why, and it's not just him, like the other ones are also extremely competitive. They're still finding their way and what their goals might be. But just, I love that competitiveness is going to stay with you. Learning how to compete, learning how to fail, right? Because you losing is part of any athletic sport.
Yeah.
And learning how to lose and learn and grow from that experience. We all need that. Those are such, like, good lessons for all of us.
100%.
So I'm glad that they're learning that at this like important age while they're growing up. It's going to help them a lot.
Yeah. All right, let's flip back into the business, some technical things. So I want to get back to Cheetah Final Mile and some of the cool and exciting things that you have going there. I know that you just recently expanded into the warehousing space. Yeah. Tell us about what you're doing there.
Well, so we've had warehousing for a while now, since opening up in 2014 in Kansas City.
Okay.
But most recently, we in 51,000 square feet now in Kansas City.
Wow.
So it's got racking. We're doing storage. We're doing cross-docking. We're doing critical parts. It's so new, and I love that this industry allows for such diversity in services and products, that it keeps it, like, challenging, and just you're always learning something.
Yeah. So I know you've been in the warehousing space, but 51,000 square feet, I mean, that's a big investment.
Yeah, yeah.
I just want to walk through some of the financial side of that decision-making process, because I think there's folks in our audience that they may get these bids or RPs, the opportunities that they need to be able to cross-dock or touch the freight before they deliver it, and they're totally clueless when it goes to, identifying leases, understanding how to negotiate them, the safety requirements that come about when you have a warehouse, workers' comp, the insurance that comes, like, it's a whole new ball of worms. Ball of worms, I'm gonna say that right, can of worms, something like that opens up once you get into the real warehouse space. So How did you go through that process of making sure you identified the right space, got the right lease terms you wanted, and then put in place the SOPs, the standard operating procedures you needed to be successful?
That's a really good question and multifaceted. So I'm going to try to answer all your
I
questions.
tend to do these like multifaceted questions at one time.
Okay, there's so much
I'll
going on
help
with
you
that
go through
question.
it. All right. Identifying the space first. Like was this a bid that you responded
So
to?
when I first started in warehousing, yeah, it was a bid that I responded to, and it was really funny because they were like, "Do you have warehouse?" Yes. When no, I don't. But I really just wanted to gather information and see, what it was all about. So, then they come up with like their volume and their history and the amount of space, and then you kind of just go. I went and looked at warehouses, how much it was going to cost, how much it would have to be, per delivery, with labor, with overhead, with insurance. And there was an opportunity that was able to, cover everything. And then when you throw in other stuff, when you're able to provide, okay, now we do have a dock that's, we're providing for whatever one piece of business. Now what else can I do with that?
Mm-hmm.
And then all of that just becomes not really gravy, but it helps subsidize all the other expenses, right?
Yeah.
So like you can do cross docking. Well, hey, we can do long-term storage, and we can build up instead of just using the floor space.
Mm-hmm.
So once you're in with one opportunity, there's so much to grow within that in the warehousing.
Did you get the full 51,000 square feet initially? You've kind of grown into that.
No, our first warehouse was in Boca Raton, was I think 800 square feet.
Yeah, so
So we had some storage of medical equipment, and then we received some freight cross docking. And then when I moved to Kansas, our first warehouse was like 1,500, then 2,500, then 5,000, 10,000.
These probably don't even dock high. These small facilities.
Well, no, once I got to 1,500, there was one dock high door, yeah. And then 15,000, we had 3 dock high doors, and now at 51,000, we have 4 doors, a drive-in door.
Are you in the warehouse driving a forklift, pallet jacking?
Not anymore.
But you're capable. You've done it.
Yeah. So really funny. In Boca Raton, I had a driver come, and our guy was gone for the day. We were just starting out. It was right when we became independent, like in 2011, 2012.
Okay.
It was 2012 because I was pregnant again. I was 7 months pregnant, and our guy left early, and the truck came late. And so I go, the forklift is there. Can you drive it? And the guy's like, I can't do that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I'll do it. I barely fit in it because of my big belly. 7 or 8 months at that point, you're ready to.
You shouldn't be on a forklift.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not. I don't think, as long as you know what you're doing. We were certified, but it was just the time that it came. So yeah, I've driven the forklifts and the pallet jacks. I've done it all, and I'm still not scared to get in there.
You don't do with those heels on.
No, gosh, no.
I guess that'd be cool. I mean, to your point earlier, you mentioned like you want to lead by example, right? So there should be nothing that you would ever ask anyone to do that you haven't done or not capable of doing. So I got to imagine that builds some rapport with your team, seeing you potentially in the warehouse.
Maybe. I try not to be anymore. I feel like I've done the work. I don't have to do that.
No, I know now. I'm gonna say, but early on when you were getting started.
Yeah, I mean, early on it was. But that's what you have to. I feel like for me, I didn't have a business education. I didn't go to college. That was nothing. That wasn't expected of me to actually. I don't know. There was nothing expected of me, really. Marry well. I don't know. So I just had to learn from doing it. Like I didn't know that like labor costs needed to be included in that original bid. So I was the laborer, and at that time my husband came in and helped, whenever he could. So it was like really a family event. I had the crib in the office space, so like it was really like sometimes I stuck my kids in the back seat and did deliveries.
Yeah.
So I had to learn from experience because I had no other way to learn.
Yeah. How many customers do you service out of the warehouse today? Is it dominated by a couple big clients, or are you able to kind of?
No, I've got maybe a dozen and a half.
Got it. Okay. And what you were saying earlier, I think, is a good point for the audience to learn. So when you're able to start offering warehousing, cross docking services, it basically allows you to start to expanding your potential for profitability.
Yeah.
Right. So the way we had a similar story when we kind of started off warehousing and literally in the hallway of our office. We had no warehouse. And we're just stacking TVs from Man of Freight in the hallway. I think I talked about in a previous episode. And then we got a little small store about big as this room here. And then we eventually got our first warehouse. And you learn so much along the way and the trial and error and messing up a whole bunch of things. So that's what I was saying. It opens up the opportunities for you to have more bangs at the buck, is what I call it. So instead of just getting $1 for delivery, well, now I can get $1 to receive freight in. I can get another $1 for touching the freight, moving it inside the office, inside the warehouse, outbounding it, and then delivering it again, right, when it goes back out. So it does expand your capabilities and it invites new customers to come in.
Yeah.
Right? And so I got to imagine that you have benefited from having this new space. Maybe I don't know if it's been beyond what you initially thought you'll be able to capitalize on.
Well, yeah, for sure. I mean, I think the biggest thing when you're in a new space is not be narrow-minded about what services you can provide, right? So I think that's where I've excelled at, is really being able to, if somebody says, "Can you do this?" not being closed-minded and just being, "Oh, okay, how can I do this?" Really looking at opportunities and seeing how I can capitalize on it.
Yeah.
So, so where we started our warehouse in Kansas City, mostly because we were doing home white glove deliveries. But now, with white glove deliveries, we're not just doing them in the home. We're doing them for retail. We're doing them for project work. We're doing it for medical. We're providing 2 4-man teams to go out. So it's taking what you have and then seeking diversifying, right? Seeking other opportunities and that makes you grow and just it makes a better product for the business. So, and then also the biggest thing for us right now is storage for the warehouse.
Short, long-term storage.
Short-term and long-term storage. Critical parts, like you said, that creates that inbound and outbound and delivery portion of it.
Yep.
And then cross-docking, it's endless. It's endless. You just really have to put yourself out there and for me, the biggest thing is being able to meet people and network, all these different associations. It's created so much opportunity for me to learn, what is it that I can do, and then also look for opportunities, look for customers.
The cross-docking piece, I want to explain that because I was totally clueless. I've heard the term, this is early on in my career, I heard the term cross-dock, but I was like, I didn't know what that meant. And then one day we got a phone call from some random, I think it's like a 3PL, say, "Hey, I have a truck in your market and I need to come to your warehouse and cross-dock it. Can you handle it?" I'm like, yeah. But just like you, I have no idea what this means, right?
Google cross-dock.
And then the truck shows up and all the pallets have shifted, all the product has shifted off the pallets. It must have got some kind of accident or something. And so everything's all over the place.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, they want to literally bring it in, fix it, and then cross it back out the dock on the pallet. So I had no idea how to charge for this stuff, but I quickly learned that you can charge a decent amount of money, especially because they're under some type of time pressure. Something's happened. And you can make a nice little coin on true cross docking. There's companies out there that will just call you when they have trucks that have issues like that.
Yeah.
Or they run out of hours of service and need to stop for overnight. It really is phenomenal about what you can do when you have the infrastructure in place.
Yeah. I mean, and it's not as easy as it sounds. You make it sound like, oh, it's just such gravy.
Well, no, it wasn't. Yeah,
just come on in and we'll fix your freight.
Yeah. It was a nightmare.
Sometimes it can be. Sometimes it can be.
Have you had some situations like that?
Yeah. So we have one right now in our warehouse. They floor loaded these boxes. So we had to unload them box by box, a full trailer, hundreds and hundreds of boxes. Took hours to unload, and I had to bring in extra help for the day, and then restack it, repalletize, rewrap, reshrink wrap, and now hold it for 3 days.
Yep.
And so we've got 35 pallets that we had to find room for, and then they came back and picked it up 3 days later.
But this is what I'm talking about. So the same thing you had happen to me, and you don't know what you don't know until you experience it. And so, not now, I'm not in the business now, but after that experience, I'm sure next time you get a call like that, one of the first questions you're asking, is it floor loaded? Is it palletized?
Well, we knew.
Okay.
We knew. It creates labor, like you're not prepared for something like that to come in on any given day.
Yeah, so
right?
disrupt the other operation.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So it's a little disruptive, but like you said, it's a good opportunity to make some extra money because I think it's well within what we can do, and so it's a nice little extra piece of business that we can get.
Got it. I want to talk to you about white glove. So I've
Mhm.
talked to a number of people on this podcast, myself included. No mas. I want no parts of it.
That's so funny.
How have you found success in white glove?
I think communication is key, and orientation, right? We're not training our drivers, but we are definitely giving them clear customer expectations and how to prevent claims.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's our biggest thing is how to prevent claims, um, because that can be a killer for any small business.
Yeah.
Um,
What are the common claims that you have seen?
I mean, I think with with the consumers that we're seeing nowadays, they're looking for an easy, payday, right? Oh, he scratched my wall. That's $2,500 to get it fixed. Or that light fixture broke. You owe me $3,000. Um, and then there's product. We're the final mile. So we open a box and the product is damaged. Everybody's like looking at us. You broke it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like all we did was open a box.
Yeah.
You didn't even you barely wrapped it in cardboard. Like, how is this our fault? So training employees when they receive the product, taking the pictures, uploading pictures, training giving a good driver orientation on how they can protect themselves from claims by taking pictures when they pick it up, taking pictures when they deliver it, making sure that you're communicating with the consumer well. Where are we putting this? Is there room to move in your home?
Yeah.
Where are we setting this up? So we've been able to, we're never free and clear of claims.
Sure.
But we've definitely lowered significantly the amount of claims by just having pictures. Pictures, videos. There's no amount of pictures and videos that is too much.
It's worth 1,000 words.
Yeah.
It'll save you thousands of bucks.
Saves us every single time.
You use both W-2 employees and ICs in this model?
Not anymore.
Okay.
Not anymore. So I have moved away from the W-2 model.
Okay.
And only use independent contractors.
Got it. When a claim event happens, are the ICs potentially on the hook for the damages?
They can be, yes.
Yeah. I was getting a new washer and dryer in my house a month or so ago, and guys moving up the stairs. Two guys moved up the stairs, and there's a rail, and some kind of way, the guy on the backside that was pushing up smashed his finger on the rail with the dryer and drops the dryer, and the glass shatters, whole 9 yards. It was a mess, total mess. Fortunately, I knew the owner of the company, which is always good when you're doing some moving jobs. Try to know somebody. But I called him because I obviously need to put a claim in it to fix this dryer. And he said, don't worry, I'll make sure my guys, they're going to cover a portion of this. I was like, interesting. And so when he came, the owner actually came out to repair the door a couple weeks later when he got the part in. And I was intrigued by this. I was like, well, how much do you charge? I'm like, I was just trying to figure it out. And I think he said it's about 50% of the cost is on the driver. He covers the other 50% of it. And he said, I said, did you always do that? He said, no, I started doing it about a year ago. And ever since then, my claims have dramatically dropped down.
Right.
And so I'm just wondering, have you had similar experience with that?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Making the drivers responsible for their errors has definitely lowered the amount. They're definitely a little bit more careful with the product, with what they're moving, with what they're and are going to be clear with like I said, taking those pictures, and for sure. So it just depends on the claim. We're not 50% on the driver. We really try to hear. The drivers are such an important part of our infrastructure, right?
Yeah.
I really want to take care of them as much as possible. They're so important to what we do. And once you have a good team, you really want to take care of them. So I try to really hear them out and see, was it really just a clear accident? Something like that. It's just really an unfortunate incident.
Yeah. That was a tough one. His finger looked pretty bad too. All right, we're getting towards the end of our time here, but I have a couple last questions for you. Okay. So I like to ask our guests, what was your personal or professional kind of last to first moment? That's kind of that moment or time where you felt it was a pivotal time where it took you from proverbial last to first. So just curious, if you had any experience that you felt like was a moment you can point to where you say, well, had I not experienced that, I may not be sitting here today.
really good question. Wish you would have asked me that before so I could be more prepared.
You can put you in the
Um,
hot seat.
I think, you know, I didn't start coming to any associations or networking like nationally until year 5 or 6 of this business. Well, I take that back because I was part of the Florida Messenger Association. But when I saw the amount of people nationwide that are doing what I do, and at the level, at a much bigger level, and I saw that potential,
Yeah.
I was like, it changed my mindset.
Mhm.
I saw oh my gosh, the picture is not this big. The picture is so much bigger than what I thought it was.
Yeah.
It's not just courier work point A to point B. It's just so many things that we can offer. So I think that was my eye-opening experience, is really traveling, talking to people, sharing experiences,
Yeah.
networking. I think that would be where everything changed. And I know that you were part of a mentoring program that you started within the CLDA. And that was my first year.
Oh, okay.
And so I had John Loth was my mentor.
That's a good mentor.
So it was just to be able to just talk to somebody about their business and how they got to where they're at, and get advice.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's invaluable.
Yeah.
You can't get that anywhere else.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that was my last to first, my big aha moment.
Love that. Love that. Like John Loth I gotta get him on this podcast because he's like
Wealth of knowledge.
a wealth of knowledge.
Yeah.
That he's John. I'm looking for you. And to this podcast. Last question for you. You talked about kind of growing up and the expectations, or maybe lack thereof, that you had on you in terms of what you were supposed to evolve and become in your life and career. And then you've also tied in kind of how important it is to find that balance for your children, but also to lead by example and to show them, the way. Whenever Cheetah found them out, a Tempo Courier exit into the sunset very successfully with a lot of money.
Hopefully.
What do you think your children will say to you in terms of what you've done, what you've sacrificed, the things that you have gone through to put them in a better position for their life, and hopefully that you have done what you said, which is hopefully supported them in their dreams and their goals.
Right. So I think it's really important because my children know how maybe I've grown up. I was just not just culturally, but with not having the opportunity to get an education. My son the other day, he said, started from the bottom, now we're here, that song.
Mm-hmm.
It's he sees that already. He sees how hard I've worked to get to where I'm at, and I continue to work to be the best that I can be. And I think that drives him, that's why he wants to be the best he can be at whatever it is that he's doing. So I think in the future, I'm hoping that they, I'm not looking for anything in return. I'm not looking for them to appreciate or say thank you. I just hope that it helps them. They see that, and they can know that they can do whatever they want. Whatever they want, they can do it as long as they put their mind to it. They, put their head down and just do the work.
Yeah. Well, Ruth, you have been an inspiration to a lot of people in the space, whether you know it or not.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Sometimes you're quiet in the corner sometimes.
Yeah.
Never forget, people are always watching, and I'm one of those people, and I'm just very proud to see you continue to ascend and grow in all the ways, both professionally and personally. And so a lot to be proud of.
Appreciate you.
Love the commitment you have as a mother to your children and the things you have done there. And super excited for what you're doing in the business. I mean, I think you're on a hell of a track right now. And so all continued success and best wishes.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Yes. So thank you for being on the podcast. This is Jason Burns. That's Ruth Correa. We're out. Peace.
Bye.